The WTO is now projecting a 9.2% fall in the volume of world merchandise trade in 2020, followed by a 7.2% rise in 2021, leaving trade well below its pre-pandemic trend.
The global merchandise trade decline recorded in the second quarter of 14.3% is the largest quarter-on-quarter drop recorded in our time series going back to 2005. So this was a very sharp decline in trade.
Certain services will benefit immediately from the rebound of trading goods. And these are all the freight transport, the logistics services, also manufacturing services on a contract basis if production resumes, especially in Asian economies. But also there's also another element, the shipping rates and air cargo freight rates, air cargo rates have gone up, especially during the summer. So global exports of personal protective equipment were up 49% in the first 6 months of the year, and we've estimated trade at $98 billion. And at the peak of the pandemic, China exported almost 44% of all PPE, which essentially there are face masks.
While we think there's reason for optimism on the trade front with a smaller than expected decline, fall and winter holds a lot of uncertainty. Asian exports have been strong, but for those exports to be sustained, you need strong demand in the importing countries such as the US and EU. But we don't know how strong consumption demand will remain should the virus resurge and should governments not be able to continue sustained fiscal support.
Risks to the forecast are considered to be predominantly on the downside. A resurgence of COVID-19 requiring new lockdowns could reduce global GDP growth by 2 to 3 percentage points and shave up to 4 percentage points off of merchandise trade growth in 2021. On the other hand, there is some limited upside potential if effective vaccines or other medical treatments can be made available in short order.
Trade monitoring suggests that barriers, while put in place and probably slowing trade flows, some have not stopped trade from being helpful in a time of crisis. All in all, thus far, like the great financial crisis, the system, underpinned by the WTO, seems to have worked to mitigate the worst protectionist instincts and effects thus far.
Trade has played a critical role in responding to the pandemic, allowing countries to secure access to vital food and medical supplies. One of the greatest risks for the global economy in the aftermath of the pandemic would be a descent into protectionism. International cooperation is essential as we move forward, and the WTO is the ideal forum to resolve any outstanding trade issues stemming from the crisis.